Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our diamond birthday card. It's a simple card, and it's a little bit different as far as the style and how it stands up, but we've included a variety of different captions that you're going to print, then cut, and incorporate into this card, so it's very versatile, and I'll show you that in just a second here. But let's just jump right in here. This is our card base, and you'll have a series of score marks here. Now, obviously, we've included a solid scoreline version, and I like to use the solid score lines for card bases as well as envelopes, which I've mentioned many times. So just make sure that you fold everything at the score marks. Eventually, it's going to stand up like this, okay? And what we have here are 3 panels. 2 of them are the same. One of them, if you look closely, has the letter T cut into it using score marks, okay? And you want the T right side up because there are some additional markers here to help us with the positioning of the various elements. Okay, so I'm going to start by gluing down this center one, and of course we want to make sure that we get this nice and centered so that we have an even border all the way around. So let's get that going again. Make sure that that T for Tom, is right side up, and let's get that glued into place. Okay, and if you need to put it sideways, that's fine. Whatever is most comfortable for you. And let's take a look. There we go, perfect. So get that in place. And now as we're applying the 2 pieces that are going to go off to the sides here, we can actually use this as our guide. Okay, so if you're a little bit off and maybe you have a little bit thicker border down here or up here, just use this one and try to get that lined up with this, the bottom of this, okay? It's very simple. This card's gonna go together so quick. This is one of those great little cards to have in your stash so that if you need something in a pinch, and this one is specifically, because it has the tie element on it, is obviously geared towards men. Let me make sure that that looks nice and straight, pretty good. This was printed on a laser printer, and it's not calibrated, I guess, so it's kind of splotchy. But you can see you've got a thank you, good luck, congrats, the various birthdays. We have some other captions, and we also have a little bonus treat in store for our dreamers after the release of this card set too. So look for that if you have gotten this. Actually, you know what? I don't mind spilling the beans because obviously if you're watching this, you've already purchased. What we're planning on doing is releasing bonus captions so that this card be even more versatile. So next we're going to build the little diamond element, and that's actually going to get pop dotted onto the card base itself. Okay, so it's kind of multi-layered, and it does go together like a little puzzle. So let's do this first. Let's put this piece together first. So find this square, and in my case, I'm actually using some gold foil just to kind of embellish this a little bit and bling it out. Okay, and we're going to get this glued nice and centered on the diamond. I'm just holding it so that it looks like a square as I'm putting this down, just to make sure I get it aligned as precisely as possible. Now, foil tends to get blemished pretty easily, so instead of putting my fingerprints on there, I'm going to flip this over and press down from the other side, the side that we won't even see anyway. Okay, just make sure that's nice and straight. That looks good. Okay, now we're going to put the caption right onto this piece here. It's beautifully matted. Okay, we've got that nice maroon color, and then we have the gold surrounding that. It's almost like a double matted piece of art or photo. Okay, and now this caption is it's not totally centered, and that's because we have our tie that's going to kind of come down here a little bit. So just be careful if you're using a foil like I am, not to get that foil popping out. That looks pretty good. Okay, all right, next, the rest of this kind of goes together like a puzzle with this piece going right here. So we're just going to glue this down, and then that's going to make figuring out the rest of the puzzle a lot easier. So let's go ahead and get the glue going on this piece. And we're going to glue that down to the shadow element that's connected to the top part. Just make sure that's all nice and lined up as accurately as you can. There we go. Looks good. We'll press that down into place. Awesome. Okay. So there's that. Next, we've got a few more layers here. One of the layers is this guy here. Okay, so actually we're going to mat this again. It's going to go like this. But let's put this down first because this is actually going to go right here, and you're going to make that flush against this other diamond that we just put down. So you can see how easy this card is. And I hate to say it, I think that most guys aren't really, I don't want to say they don't appreciate the sentiment and they don't appreciate getting cards, but I don't know if they overall appreciate the amount of work that goes into a card. That's not completely true. Everyone's different. But I mean, most guys are just like, wow, I got a card, that's cool. And this one is especially easy to put together, okay? All right, so next we're gonna take this piece, and this piece is gonna be flush right here, like that, so that we have a gold border here and here. Okay, so this part here, the top of the tie, you just wanna match that up and the rest of it will naturally fall into place for us. Okay, so let's get our glue going here. I think it's a cool card. Simple, quick, but most importantly, very versatile. Okay, don't forget to match that up right up at the top there, like so. I almost messed that up actually. Okay, cool. The tie itself, which we have here, I want to give that a little bit of dimension beyond us actually pop dotting that. So I'm going to take this tie and I'm going to put some foam squares on it. We'll do one at the bottom. I'm going to see if I can fit one up here. Yep, I can do it at an angle. And you know what, just for good measure, let's throw one right in the center. And that will make sure that this thing won't go anywhere at all. Okay, so again, super cool that it comes with all of these various captions. And that is going to, this card will be, I bet you use it a lot. Okay, so just pop that right in place. And you want to make sure that the tip of your tie, well, let's just do this here. Putting a ruler right through this point and this point here, and looking to see where the tie ends up, the tip of the tie, and that is perfect. And again, if you have that lined up correctly, I think you're going to be in good shape. That looks very classy, very cool, very quick. Now we have one more element to put together for the bottom, and that's this little banner, which gives you well, some additional space to do some writing or whatever it may be, whatever you want to do with it. The first thing we're going to do, now this thing, it's not symmetrical, okay? So you want to make sure that, actually, is it, I don't think it is. No, it's not. It only goes on one way, so just make sure that you have it on correctly. It's going to be flush along here, flush on top, flush here and here, with only this little section and this little section showing through. So just make sure that you're doing that correctly. Throw a little bit of glue on there and pop that into place. Here we go. And again, I'm going to flip that over, press from the other side so I don't blemish my beautiful foil. Okay, so now that we have that, we have one additional piece. And if you look at it, you can kind of tell that it's a little bit thicker on this side and a little bit thinner on the other side. And that's going to go right in the center here. And I'm leaving this blank, but you can stamp on it. It is kind of wavy, so you may not find a stamp that works for that. But obviously you can write your little message there. Or recently I did a little video in Design Space showing you how to use single line fonts. And you should check that out if you haven't already. This is a perfect opportunity to use a single line font to write something, because as I mentioned in that video, My penmanship is not what it used to be. Okay, all right, so see, we've got these two elements now. We've got our card base, and now we're gonna take this and we're gonna flip this over. This is gonna get popped out. You could technically glue this down flat if you want, but we're gonna add a little extra dimension to this. And it's important that we keep these foam squares somewhat and mostly centered. You can go off to the side just a little bit, but as you can see, we only have this much surface here to apply this to. So I'm gonna go all the way down here, and let's feel for that. That feels good. I think that's gonna be plenty. Let's peel that off. Now, if you recall, I mentioned before, actually maybe I didn't, that we have this little marker here to help us with the placement of this guy. And also the letter T here, the vertical part of the T, the part that goes up and down, use that to make sure that you are in fact getting it lined up nice and straight up and down. And there we go. Okay, just like that. We have our little banner, and I'm gonna put the thicker part on the left side because you could technically do it this way. Either way, doesn't really matter. And we do have a little marker here and here to help you with the placement of this. It's gonna go underneath this ever so slightly, okay? And you're just gonna kind of nudge it around until you get it nice and centered. And then we're gonna actually glue that down flat. Okay, so with that being said, what I'm gonna do actually is take a little bit of glue and keep it above the little score mark and just throw a little bit of glue like that right there. Okay, again, making sure that we get that nice and centered and just press that into place. And there we go. Beautiful little card, very elegant. And of course, it would not be complete without a coordinating envelope. I love that card. So classy, so quick, so cute. Look at that, beautiful. Okay, all right, so we'll put that off to the side and let's take a look at the envelope that we have here. The envelope is made up of the main part. We have this little panel, or the actual panel for the flap, and then we have these two elements. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue this to this part here, like so, which means that we need to apply glue to this part of the flap. Okay, and try to extend that glue out to the edge as far as you can go. Keep it kind of away from this little cutout where the diamond is, because we don't want any of this glue spreading onto our foil if you're using foil. Grab this piece, just kind of run it against your surface, push it up to the little score mark, make sure it's centered, and then just bring that down and press down. Nice and easy. Okay, make sure that it's all making good, solid contact. I'm gonna flip it over, push from the other side, so again, I don't blemish it. Okay, there we go. And then finally, well, not finally, we have this element here, and that's gonna get centered. And actually you can use the tip of this as your guide for placement. So we'll just throw a little bit of glue around this square or diamond, depending on how you hold it. Okay, and use that little part there that's hanging off as your guide. I have to be very careful with this foil not to blemish it. There we go. Perfect. And then we have this additional little piece that's going to go right inside, nice and centered, even border all the way around. Okay. Just do your best to get that centered. Press that into place. And I just realized that with this, with a single line font, you can even put a little monogram on there or some initials. It could look really cool. Okay, so there's that. Now to finish this up, we're going to take these two flaps, fold them in, and bring your glue down like so. And then another line here, nice and thin there. And then go ahead and bring the bottom up. It's kind of like putting on a diaper backwards. I know a little bit about that these days, but that's it. And I haven't had to get up and hit record, which means that this video is clocking in under 20 minutes. That's exactly what I was hoping for. And there is your beautiful card. That is a winner. So that's going to do it for this card. I am actually in love with it. I think it is very classy, not too over the top, but not boring. You know, your typical card that just opens up. I mean, it's what you come to expect, but this is a little bit different, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit us on our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. While you're there, make sure you hit the little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new project. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where you'll find myself and over 40,000 dreamers that inspire us daily. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.